Welcome to the land of the rising sun, where a new dance craze has just begun. Everybody's doing the samurai.
And so we come to the end of an era, in several senses of the phrase. As mentioned, What's New Scooby-Doo came to an end in 2006, with the next series, Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue, taking over from 2006 to 2008. However, the direct-to-DVD movies continued using the same style and tone as What's New Scooby-Doo. But change was on the horizon for Scooby-Doo as a franchise, and the next direct-to-video film would herald not only the end of the What's New era, it would also bring to an end a long-standing association with one particular character. Casey Kasem had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2007, although that information wouldn't be made public until 2013, and the diagnosis would turn out to be incorrect as he was actually suffering from Lewy body dementia, which shares many of the same symptoms. As such, his health was beginning to decline, and he began making plans to retire. In 2009, he formally retired from acting and radio, and as such, the last Scooby-Doo film of the What's New era also serves as the last official time he would voice Shaggy. He did reprise the role for the official BBC Children in Need medley in 2009, but went uncredited at his request. He also went similarly uncredited for what was to be his final voice role as Shaggy's father, Colton Rogers, on Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
Your mother and I are worried about this mystery phase you're going through. We're not saying find new friends.
Yes, we are.
He would pass away at the age of 82 on June 14th, 2014. So does Kasem's final outing as Shaggy serve as an appropriate curtain call on a legendary career? Let's find out as we look at Scooby-Doo and the Samurai Sword. We open at the Tokyo Museum of Cultural History, where the night janitor is spooked by a shadow and confounded by an open skylight. He is represented by the curator, Mr. Takagawa, who has opinions.
Too many distractions, no discipline, no respect for the old ways.
To prove his point, Takagawa takes the janitor to see the armor of the legendary Black Samurai, the most fearsome warlord in Japan's history. The hope is that the exhibit will boost attendance at the museum and enable it to remain open. However, as expected, things go horribly wrong. We then go to the Shibuya district of Tokyo, where the gang arrive and... Oh, wait, sorry, back it up. This is the internet after all, and we must have our goddamn memes and references.
You never see it coming. You see that my mind is to...
The gang are in Tokyo so Daphne can participate in a martial arts competition, and to that end they meet Miyumi, one of the students at Miss Miramoto's Martial Arts Academy, voiced by Kelly Hu.
Miss Miramoto runs the most exclusive martial arts academy in all the world. Only the most exemplary students are accepted by her. But first, you must survive the tournament.
The academy itself isn't in Tokyo, so Miyumi gives a lift to the island the school is on via a fully automated VTOL plane. And we get smacked in the face with the theme of the movie.
Here in Japan, technology is taking over everything, while many of the old traditions are fading away.
At the academy, we find that Takagawa has come to see Miss Miramoto, also voiced by Hugh, with a dire warning.
The Black Samurai has returned. Soon, he will come for the Destiny Scroll.
After Miss Miramoto's goon Sojo makes an unnecessary Fantasy Island reference, the gang arrive at the academy.
Wow, what a beautiful airport.
It's not an airport, Freddy.
And of course, now is when we start introducing supporting characters and compiling suspects.
That's Carrie Kilpatrick, the Irish national champion. Sapphire Sonia,
The only thing deadlier than her kick is her beauty. And that's Japan's own Mad Dog Masimoto.
At the opening ceremonies of the tournament, Miss Miyamoto singles out Daphne since she took out Sojo when he tried getting a little handsy earlier. So an exhibition match happens between her and Miyumi. However, something fishy seems to be going on. Thanks to a dirty trick by Miyumi, Daphne loses the match, but it succeeds in impressing Miss Miyamoto. That night, during a celebratory feast...
But, our waitress sure could use a suntan.
She's not a waitress, Freddy.
Boy, Fred, you're just working overtime to make up for your lack of idiocy in the last movie, aren't you? And then the ninjas attack! No, I'm not kidding. The ninjas make short work of the other competitors in the tournament, and then the Black Samurai shows up. And we get back on familiar ground because it's time, once again, for the first chase of the movie. As the chase comes to an end, the Black Samurai steals the Destiny Scroll. Miss Miyamoto tries to stop him, but he manages to escape. Afterward, the gang are introduced to Takagawa, and we get the backstory on the legend of the Black Samurai. Now, there's some liberties taken with the folklore around some of the characters in this story, so please don't bombard the comments with corrections. We all know this isn't entirely accurate. It's a Scooby-Doo movie. So, basically, a Ronin samurai went to the great swordsmith Masamune and asked for a sword of great power. Masamune agreed to do it, but said it would take a year for the work to be completed. Masamune's apprentice, Murimasa, said he could do it, but in half the time. The Ronin took Murimasa's offer, but when he collected the sword, it turned out to be cursed by Murimasa's dark spirit, turning the Ronin into the Black Samurai. Masamune completed his sword and gave it to a green dragon, who proceeded to duel with the Black Samurai, both matched by the powers of what became known as the Sword of Doom and the Sword of Fate. The green dragon defeated the Black Samurai and imprisoned him in the Sword of Doom forever. Now, the question is, what does the Destiny Scroll have to do with all this?
The Destiny Scroll holds the only clue to the secret location of the Sword of Doom.
Of course, Miss Miyamoto isn't actually stupid enough to leave such an important relic out where anybody can find it. The scroll the Black Samurai stole was a fake, and so the gang turned their attention to solving the riddle on the actual scroll, in an effort to find the Sword of Doom before the Black Samurai realizes he's been duped.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The paper dragon shows the way.
Thanks to Scooby and Shaggy goofing off with an origami book, and much to Takagawa's increasing panic, the gang let them fold the scroll into an origami dragon, which rearranges the words on the scroll to read, "The journey begins with 1,000 steps." Velma does some research and finds a reference to the Temple of 1,000 Steps, which is located on a nearby island. Takagawa also confirms the temple was built in homage to the Green Dragon, which is all anyone needs to assume that the Sword of Doom is hidden there. The gang arrives at the temple along with Takagawa and Miyumi, and thanks to Shaggy goofing around, manages to light a large lantern in the ceiling, which reveals what appears to be a map of the entire island on the walls. They find a sign that indicates the Sword of Doom is on the other side of the island, along with another riddle.
The secret falls from the mouth of the dragon.
Shaggy finds an odd symbol, which looks like a knife and fork, and asks for help translating it. Takagawa freaks out and runs out of the temple. The gang follows, but they run into a group of hostile natives. Fred attempts to talk to them.
Hello there. We're from America.
Yeah, we're going there. You know the drill. The guys are going to be sacrificed to the Green Dragon while the girls are going to be forcibly married to the tribal chief. You also know how they get out of it.
Like now we're cooking, right, Scoob?
Plus, Velma uses her laptop to connect with the plane's guidance system, and pretty much Johnny quests a way to scare off the natives, making this entire sequence utterly pointless. Anyway, they fly to the other side of the island where they find a large waterfall flowing out of a cave that, of course, resembles a dragon's mouth. They fly into the cave, and after some exploration, find the Sword of Doom.
I don't know, guys. Something doesn't feel right about this.
Despite Daphne's misgivings, Mayumi takes the sword, which of course sets off a trap. And to make things worse, the Black Samurai shows up and demands the sword, which leads into the second chase. This chase comes to a somewhat abrupt end when the Black Samurai crashes into a wall. As a matter of fact, the mystery seems to come to an abrupt end as well.
Sojo!
Hang on, how much time is left in this movie? Okay, I guess there's more going on here. For some reason, everyone returns to the museum in Tokyo where the gang outline what's been going on.
Sojo's master plan was to bring the legend of the Black Samurai to life and scare everyone away from the tournament. That way he could steal the Destiny Scroll, then search for the Sword of Doom on his own.
Unfortunately, the gang aren't 100% correct.
And he would have gotten away with it too, if it weren't for you meddling kids. Sojo!
Yep, Miss Miyamoto was behind everything, and the gang are appropriately shocked.
Jeepers! Jinkies!
Dang, I still don't have a catchphrase.
Not yet you don't, Fred. Give it a few movies. And no, I'm not going to count that as an idiot Fred moment. I am, however, going to count this one.
They're robots!
Ninja robots, double cool.
And I guess Miss Miyamoto's a fan of the live-action Dead or Alive movie because she pretty much stole the big plot twist from it for this movie.
The tournament was just an excuse to gather the greatest martial artists from around the world. Using computer analysis, their various fighting styles were digitized into my ninja robots.
To add to the betrayals, Miyumi, out of severely misplaced loyalty, gives the Sword of Doom to Miyamoto. Yeah, we're dispensing with the honorifics. Who has grand plans for it?
Once the Black Samurai has returned, I will order him to lead my robot ninjas against the ignorant forces of this modern age.
Translation, she's planning to take over the world. Really? I don't have to preemptively cut that damn meme off this time? Good. Moving on. Daphne kicks the swords out of Miyamoto's hands and it lands with Shaggy and Scooby who make a break for it. Miyamoto and her forces follow them after locking up the rest of the gang in Takagawa. Needless to say, this cues chase number 3.
Domo arigato, sayonara. May I have your ticket, please?
Scooby's jetpack runs out of gas and the two hide in a sushi restaurant, which just so happens to also be named the Green Dragon. Gee, do you think this will be significant in any way? During the fight, the ninjas manage to get the Sword of Doom from Shaggy, and the boys learn a secret about the chef.
That is because I am samurai.
Back at the museum, after Takagawa regrets his constant bemoaning of the modern age, the janitor lets the others out of the vault. Meanwhile, the sushi chef takes Shaggy and Scooby to Mount Fuji, where they are given a quest.
Pass beyond the 4 gates to the lair of the Green Dragon.
You know what, we all know where this is going at this point, so let's just cut to the chase. The metaphorical chase, this time.
You don't look like samurai.
The dragon gives the Sword of Fate to the boys and also gives them a lift back to the city. Speaking of, Miyamoto prepares to resurrect the Black Samurai. At the last second, however, Miyumi runs off with the sword.
Way to go, Miyumi! I knew you were one of us!
Fortunately, before things can get too bad, Velma takes out the robots with a makeshift EMP generator. However, it works too well and winds up blacking out the entire city. Miyamoto manages to get the sword away from Miyumi, and the Black Samurai returns.
Black Samurai lives again.
Needless to say, Miyamoto's plan to order the Black Samurai around doesn't work, and the rest of the gang don't fare much better. Fortunately, the cavalry arrives.
Like right on time, late as usual.
And, honestly, a pretty epic sword fight takes place. Ultimately, Scooby manages to destroy the Sword of Doom, which defeats the Black Samurai and releases the Ronin within.
You are indeed samurai, and your legend shall be told forever.
And a few days later, Scooby gets the recognition he deserves.
In honor of Scooby-Doo!
Scoob, you really did get your own statue. And like they even got your good side.
Yeah.
Scooby Scooby-Doo and the Samurai Sword isn't the best from this era of movies, but it's at least trying to do something interesting. The main problem is the plot seems really disjointed and it doesn't seem to know what to do with half the characters it introduces. It feels like several different drafts of the script were combined together and you can easily see the seams. Overall, though, it's decently paced, the addition of actual magic and supernatural power doesn't feel shoehorned in, and at the very least we don't have Velma denying what's going on in front of her. As a finale to the What's New Scooby-Doo era, it certainly could have gone worse. Give this one a watch if you're interested. You certainly won't be bored. And with that, it's time to lay to rest another of the 30-plus films of Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo!